Zionsville Redevelopment Commission will call to order at 9:03 for the February 27th meeting. Are there any attendees who request to be noted this time? Seeing none, we'll move forward to the next item on the agenda, which is our director's report. Corey.
Good morning, commissioners. I just have a real quick update report for you. The team and I are working on communicating with our elected leaders concepts for the South Village area. We are also working on creating a planned unit development that would address the land use in the South Village area. We are working on this with the hopes of getting on the April Plan Commission meeting. Along the same light, we are meeting with interested parties, of which one of them is the Village Residents Association, VRA. I am presenting to them an update of general projects and ideas on Sunday, this Sunday at 1:30 at the Sullivan and Muntz Museum. So if you're interested, please attend that. And then Wild Air TIF request is making its way through the different boards. It will go before the town council on Monday, and then the Economic Development Commission in March, and it will make its way back to us as well. March, I think, is what we're planning on. And then Podell Partners, we have a letter of interest from them. Their legal team and our legal team are working through the nuances of the purchase agreement, but I expect that to be firmed up and coming back to you this next month as well. So that concludes my report, unless you have any specific questions for me.
Any questions for Corey?
When are you presenting to the Residents Association again?
I'm presenting on Sunday at 1:30. Over the past year, I have been presenting, really it's been more listening sessions. I have a slide deck of questions that I ask them, and then they're able to share what is important to them and what are their concerns. And then that's allowed us to go back to the drawing board and work with developers and engineers on how we can address their concerns as residents and continue to maintain the health, safety, and welfare in the area.
Corey, since January, we've had several liaison committee meetings. That's just a new practice of the RDC to engage stakeholders, elected officials, and others. Would you take some time to kind of talk through what that all entails and how those have been going?
Sure. We've had 3 liaison meetings, and those meetings included up to 2 members of the RDC and up to 3 members of the RDC. It also included leadership from the mayoral team and then our RDC administrative team as well. Each of those meetings, we talked about what were the general boundaries of the South Village. The conversation throughout each of these meetings was primarily South Village, what's important to them from an elected leader position, from you as commissioners. We also addressed concepts of addressing traffic flow in the area, parking in the area, and then how does development look aesthetically, and how big and are the projects. We've gotten some good impact, and that certainly has a lot good feedback, and that has allowed us to adapt how we're writing the PUD. It's been a great collaboration so far. Some of them have been very lively conversations, but really all conversations are good because we're able to reflect that and show that we are building a vision that is comprehensive of everyone's concerns and priorities.
Yeah. I just want to clarify one thing that you said at the outset. It's 2 members of the RDC and up to 3 members of the council,
Yes,
and then administrative folks.
yes.
Okay.
Did I say commission?
You said
twice?
RDC, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah,
Just wanted to
council.
make sure that for the record, we do not have a quorum of the RDC meeting outside
No,
of
we do
public
not.
meetings.
No, we do not.
Yeah. Well, I just want to commend you for that work. It's an idea that you brought to us last year of how do we formalize receiving two-way feedback between our appointing authorities and read them into the work that we're doing so that nothing is hitting them cold when these decisions reach that stage. And so it's been a lot of organization, I'm sure, but thank you for those efforts.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? No? We'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which is the TIF area report. We don't usually discuss this. It's mostly a informational document unless anyone has any questions. Seeing none, we will move on to old business. The only piece of old business we have is Zionsville CDC appointments, which we tabled last month. I see that we have the president of the Community Development Corporation with us. Corey, how do we want to arrange this conversation?
Well, we tabled this last month because they were in the process of changing their structure of the board, and we didn't quite know who we would be appointing and what positions. Since that time, they have voided that change and now going back to the original structure of the Community Development Corporation. So there are 4 appointees from the mayoral administration and 3 appointees from the Redevelopment Commission. Our 3 appointees are the president, Erica Carpenter, vice president, Kara Weber, and formerly Brian Jones. And since the time of their last meeting, Brian Jones resigned to the Community Development Corporation. However, I had not received a resignation as for you to consider as the appointing body. So you have 3 positions to appoint. 2 of them are very clear leaders in the organization, and then you can choose to appoint one of yourselves or another member of the community. And if you want to choose another member of the community, I can work with Erica and find a couple candidates for you.
I think at the last meeting, we discussed that it would be valuable to have a member of the commission as a liaison with the CDC. We've had that in the past. So I would open up the conversation to commissioners on next steps. Okay. Thank you. Now, I guess I will move that we reappoint Ms. Erica Carpenter and Ms. Kara Weber to the CDC, and then we can deal with the other appointment immediately after this motion.
My second.
All right, it's been moved and second. Any further conversation? If not, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. For the third appointment, are there any of those interested in potentially serving on the CDC? I guess
Can we discuss this maybe at an executive session and make?
I'm
a
not
decision
sure that
next
we
meeting?
can discuss it in an executive session.
Okay.
So I would love to be the RDC liaison with the CDC.
So moved.
Good job.
Go, Derek, go. And only because I think there's already some synergies with some other roles that I have.
Okay.
If that's acceptable.
There's been a motion. Is there a second?
Oh, yeah, Derek was.
All right. Any conversation on the motion?
I think this makes the most sense of any of the options, so.
All right.
Thank
It's-
you.
Yes, it's been moved and seconded to appoint Denise Pierce to the CDC. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Congratulations. Okay, we'll move on next to new business. We have the minutes from our previous meeting, January 22nd, 2024. Are there any comments or suggested revisions or edits? If not, I would entertain a motion to accept.
I move to accept the minutes.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. Next item is claims for approval. We have changed the way that these are being presented with the invoices being attached. I hope that that has been helpful for your review.
Yes. Definitely.
Are there any questions about claims? If not, I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. The next item of new business is the letter of agreement with Innovative Planning LLC, which is Corey Sharp's contract with the RDC. If I can say, we've been outside of her original contract for a few months. This revision has a few items that have changed from the previous contract. There's been a 5% in adjustment to the original amount, so it would be $15,750 per month instead of the $15,000. We have the addition of a termination clause, 30 days written notice. I believe it was, prior to that, it was 15 days or something like that. So we've extended that, and that mirrors other contracts that the RDC has. And then the term of the contract is for 1 year with an automatic extension. The members of the RDC are appointed for 1-year terms, and it's helpful for the work that Corey's doing to have some jetway to understand the nature and continuity of her contract. And so, especially since new members start in January, and there may be a few months then where she's doing work for the RDC where she's not covered under a contract. So this allows us to move forward. It's annually adjusted by 5%, as you may see in the fee schedule. And then with the 30-day termination with notice, that allows the commission and future commissions to be able to decide whether to continue with that contract. So I would lay that forward for conversation and consideration.
Did someone legal review this on our behalf?
Good question.
The contract was legally reviewed last year twice by town administration and the RDC attorney, but it was not reviewed by legal based on these adjustments of the terms.
Did I miss any terms that had changed? I think I captured all of them. Any further discussion? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion. So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved to approve the contract as presented. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. Okay, the next item of new business is subcommittees. We have already established a subcommittee for finance. and already assigned some items, and we'll be receiving an update from them next. But there has been some discussion about the need for additional subcommittees, one for governance, and the work plan for this subcommittee would include development of bylaws. We're entitled under statute to create our own rules and bylaws, and so this committee would start the process of potentially scanning surrounding communities to see if there's something out there that would be adaptable to our situation, and then bringing those forward to the commission at a later date for review and approval. And then the second one would be an architectural review subcommittee, and this is kind of anticipated as a part of the PUD that's been discussed by Corey prior with the South Village, that we would play some role in reviewing proposals for that area of the town. So that's kind of a high level description. Corey, if I missed anything, please correct me. But let's start with the conversation about governance. I would certainly, in my current role and with my service last year, be interested in serving on the governance committee to help develop bylaws. If there's anyone else, I think we can have up to 2 members of the RDC serving on this subcommittee.
I'm happy to as well.
Justin? Okay. All right. Is there any objection to having that established? No. Okay, I'll entertain a motion then.
I'll move that we create a governance committee. Is that what we need to
Correct.
say?
Yep.
Subcommittee?
All right. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Motion carries unanimously. And then for architectural review, we would need a motion to establish that subcommittee also.
I'll make a motion to create the subcommittee for architectural review.
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. And Corey, I'm not sure if it's ripe yet to assign anyone to that specific committee, but when the time comes, I assume you'll let us know that we need to appoint some members. Next, we'll move to other business, and we will receive an update from the Finance Subcommittee. And I believe that was Katie and Kent who were on that subcommittee. So who wants to take lead on our report?
Katie, you were there the whole time, but I don't have any issues saying something. I did miss one of the meetings. But I think overall, we have made a choice, and we're moving forward with our current financial situation, financial advisor.
So that's
our
recommendation.
Excuse me.
Is to continue our engagement with Crow for financial advising services.
Do you want an update? We interviewed all 3 firms that provided proposals, and thank you to them. They spent a lot of time and effort in giving us those proposals. We talked at length with each of them. We talked at length as a committee afterwards. Cindy Poor was included in those discussions, so we felt like we considered what the town had been working on as well. Ultimately, we felt like there were 2 firms that we were really comfortable with, but maintaining the relationship with Crow for the current year made sense. It is a 1-year contract. Crow's has the history of the RDC. They've worked with us since 2014, 2010. So felt comfortable moving forward with this year with Crow. And then we'd like to reevaluate as a subcommittee at the end of the year again.
Okay. So I don't have a contract. Is that something that we would review at a future meeting?
Yeah,
Either, John or Tom, I guess I'd lean on you guys for this, but we can either bring back a full contract, or perhaps you could assign someone from the finance committee, the finance committee, to negotiate the terms of the contract within our budget item.
I think
We did establish that the subcommittee will meet monthly as well prior to these meetings, so if there's something that you want us to discuss and bring it back at each monthly meeting, that would be appropriate.
okay. Can I accept then this recommendation as a motion and a second to move forward with negotiations with Crow for a contract?
Yeah, I'll put the motion forward, yes.
Okay.
Second.
All right. Any discussion? All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. The next item on for the update would be amendments to the 2024 budget. I'll pass it back to the Finance Committee.
Commissioner Esser, would you like me to weigh in?
Yes, please.
I, last month, presented a proposed amendment to the budget, and it reflected actual year-end information and then actual costs that we had incurred up until that point. The Finance Committee met. We reviewed the proposal as it was presented to you last month in detail. The one thing that they asked me to follow up on is getting the Creekside budget in the black, so to speak, because you may remember that it was in the red due to our existing obligations, and that is a 50-50 split with the school district, an economic development incentive that was set to expire this next month, and then HOA dues. Over the last month, the mayor was able to meet with our Group 1001, and they agreed to waive the $75,000 last fee in exchange for us waiving a $15,000 commitment that they have to make annually. In the course of our investigation, we found that there is a contribution agreement, a standalone contribution agreement, where Group 1001 is to pay the RDC $15,000 a year, and that started in 2019. So that is $75,000 to this year, and so it worked out nicely that, we're able to negotiate with them to not have to pay their incentive. And then we will move forward with Group 1001 and ask them to continue to make those contributions. We'll be sure to send them an invoice annually now. So that was the only change in the recommended budget. It is in your packet. It is broken down per EDA area, and then it is also broken down in a cash on hand. Again, we are continuing to seek the sale of parcels in Creekside. The value on your cash in hand budget represents the offers that we have in for Podell Partners, and then the 2020 appraised value for the rest of the parcels. I'm happy to put it up on the screen or go through it again in detail if you would like.
Not sure that that's necessary. I do have a couple of questions for Corey. So the assignment agreement for the schools, under Creekside, this is the pay 24 amount, 50%, and then the back pay amount is from cash on hand, and that is the amount that we anticipated at the end of 23 plus interest.
Yes, sir.
And what is the rate of interest that you've calculated?
really detailed in the.
In the agreement? Okay.
Yeah, I'll have to summarize it and email it all to you.
That's okay. All right. And then I've had a conversation, and this is just probably information for a future discussion amongst this group, but you'll see under the Zionsville EDA that there is not included in the budget an amount for grants to the CDC. That is kind of in anticipation of some discussion amongst the CDC and some other stakeholders about whether grants may continue and how that might be constituted as far as what would be permissible uses for grants. And so the budget does not include a line item, but I want to clarify for our record that it does not preclude us from doing grants in the future. It's just not being budgeted for 2024. Is that correct? All right. With that, is there any further discussion about the amended 2024 budget? Is there a motion?
Make a motion to accept the 2024 amended budget.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further conversation? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. I don't have any other items on the agenda. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Seconded.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.